Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started. Appreciate everybody attending. My name is Mark Sneider. I'm owner and president of RSW US. We're the nation's leading agency new business outsource firm, exclusively help marketing service agencies in helping them find new business. I've been in business over 10 years and represent about 50 agencies of varying types and sizes across the U.S. If you want to tweet, today you can either use the hashtag RSWUS or agency new business. So why don't we go ahead and get started. The source of the information we're going to cover 2016 New Year Outlook Survey. And while we're almost a quarter into 2016, the accelerating pace of change in our industry is the active dynamic driving the feedback we received. It's also certain to continue. Doing business as an advertising and marketing communications agency is always required keeping one eye on the day-to-day deadlines clients expect their agencies to hit, and at the same time to stay relevant tomorrow and next year and the next beyond what's happening in the industry. And agencies constantly need to be thinking about how to prepare for this. So the 2016 New Year Outlook Survey was rich in feedback on topics ranging from spending expectations, predictions for change and shifts across traditional, digital, and mobile media, the influence of procurement and agency selection, among many others. We also asked marketers and agencies to share troubling trends they observe in the industry and in each other. Responses reveal the potential impact on our industry on marketer and agency issues and their day-to-day work together, as well as possible evolution of their relationships with each other. With that, here are the objectives of today's webinar. Over the next 45 minutes, we'll talk about how frustration on both sides is propelling changes in the marketer-agency relationship. We'll discuss how these frustrations and the changes, how they drive and create opportunity. I've got a few people asking about sound cutting out a little bit. Some are saying it's working. I know I'm on a direct line, so hopefully everybody is able to pick this up. The third thing is describe the implications for the traditional marketing agency client AOR relationship. And finally, discuss the services marketers say they want most. So first, let's start with the state of the industry. Along the way, I'll cover 4 key areas in the discussion of the state of the industry based on marketer and agency feedback. The input comes from 165 senior level marketers and 115 agency executives. The first area is optimism, as in 2015 across the board, both marketers and agencies expressed increased optimism. Marketers in particular expressed optimism really unprecedented over the history of the survey, which we've been doing since I started the business back in 2005. Also building on a theme from 2015 is the burning issue of strategic leadership in the industry. Marketers and agencies both say they want stronger strategic leadership from their counterparts. And finally, in 2015, marketers expressed a clear need and desire for greater technology, data, and analytical strengths from their agency partners. They were empathetic about this in the 2016 survey. So starting on the optimistic outlook, we see that marketer confidence has grown steadily since 2013, with close to 90% of all marketers who responded feeling like they're either very likely to either somewhat or heavily invest in their business infrastructure, being people, equipment, et cetera. This has happened 2 years in a row, which is really great news for marketers. And something that's particularly noteworthy is marketers' outlook for advertising and marketing spending specifically. In the 2016 survey, we saw a very large jump in the number of marketers expecting advertising and marketing spending to increase either somewhat or significantly. In 2015, 51% of marketers said this, and it jumped up to 62% this year. And remember that 62% number for a bit, because we'll come back to it. And between 2013 and 2014, agencies made a commitment to increase investment in their business in a meaningful way. And although the percentage of agencies saying they would be investing somewhat or heavily in their business has leveled off somewhat since 2014, it's clear agencies are continuing to see both the need and the opportunity to make this investment and are bullish about investing in their business, which also is great. So now remember that 62%. 62% of marketers stated that they expected to increase advertising marketing spending either somewhat or significantly in 2016. And when we asked agencies about their expectations for their clients' advertising and marketing budgets in 2016, only 49% of agencies indicated they anticipated client spending to increase either somewhat or significantly. And this is notable because for the first time in the history of asking this question of marketers and agencies in the New Year Outlook survey, agency expectations for clients to increase advertising and marketing trail marketing forecasts. While agency expectations for increased client spending dipped a bit between 2012 and 2013, this year marks the largest drop in agency expectations. Agency expectations for increased client advertising and marketing spending is at the lowest level since 2011. And this could be because agencies are seeing marketers parse out more work in pieces, thus lowering the expectations of spending for them specifically, or it could be a reflection of more agencies seeing clients bring work in-house. But regardless, clearly there's a difference in the two and how they expect to see spending as we roll through 2016. So on the one hand, from a growth and the industry certainly seems to have good energy and momentum. However, agencies do see hurdles they'll need to clear to make the most of that industry momentum. There's no question that competition for client business, either retention or winning new business, continues to heat up. And factors such as apparent strategic disconnects, and as I mentioned earlier, a growing shift to project work versus traditional AOR relationships, and the growth of in-house agencies are all driving this competitive pressure. And for the first time in 2015, we asked agencies and marketers to identify the most troubling trends they see in each other, feeling a little bit like I'm sitting in the therapist chair. We are with this question. It's certainly an important one to ask. Moreover, it's critical to understand the responses and the pressures driving them. Just like any relationship, the agency-marketer partnership works most effectively and productively when each member completely understands each other's goals and priorities, as well as their concerns and fears. What's interesting about the responses is that to a significant degree, what marketers say is troubling and what agencies say is troubling are like funhouse mirror images. For example, marketers say they want agencies more deeply engaged with the challenges and opportunities facing their brands, companies, and industries. And at the same time, agencies say marketers are operating in ways to go there to serve fully as a strategic partner. So let's look at just a few of the troubling trends and see how they seem to be juxtaposed, excuse me. As marketers lament that agencies lack the deep understanding of their business and industry, agencies fret about the absence of commitment from marketers, including relationship shifts driven by leadership. Each side sees the other as slow and not able to stay ahead of the changing curve. And while marketers want more robust performance in data analytics, agencies object that measurables need to be defined first, and that marketers are reluctant to do so. Each side sees the other as jumping at the newest shiny thing when it comes to media, Both lament the inability of the other to set fully integrated media strategies across ever-growing channels. And while marketers express that agencies are adding less value than they did in the past, agencies point out that the growth of project work puts them at a disadvantage, immersing themselves in a fully engaged way that will add value over the course of a traditional long-term strategic relationship. So let's look at these areas and discuss the challenges they present. Through this discussion, I urge you to look at these opportunities for your firm. So verbatim answers from marketers to our question about the most troubling trend they see among agencies covered a lot of issues. And rest assured, agencies had the same opportunity to vent and express concerns, but we're here today to show how agencies can recognize marketer concerns, take steps to correct them, raise that value perception, and become stronger partners with their clients. The list of concerns on the screen here, these are just some that point to a misalignment between marketers and their agency partners. So go back to our earlier comments about the big gap between marketers and agencies and their expectations for marketers to increase spending in 2016. I don't really need to comment on how big of a strategic disconnect there is here, but it does really point to communication that seems to be missing at a very important level between marketers and agencies. So let's look at another example here. It seems surprising that on every type of media spend, agency and marketer forecast for 2016, when we asked in our survey, the increases differ by at least 10 percentage points. And the spread for traditional media is pretty outstanding, a 15-point difference in what marketers and agencies are forecasting spending in these specific areas. What's happening during strategic planning that should be taking place several months in advance of a new fiscal year. Numbers like these seem to suggest that marketers and agencies are not necessarily in the same strategic sessions. The strategy gap we see through the survey is a big issue that leadership on both the marketer and agency sides need to address for brands to deliver the results their companies desire. Unfortunately, the fix is outside the realm of this webinar, but I certainly urge agency leadership to assess the health of the strategic relationships with their clients, establish a plan to close gaps, and a process that going forward will minimize those gaps. And doing so will help lower considerably that hurdle marketers are what they're calling really just a lack of value. So there may be some benefit of doubt given to agencies on the strategic matters when we consider other hurdles that have developed in the industry. This first is both a hurdle and an opportunity, that is expansion of project work or work assigned outside of the traditional AOR relationship. When we asked agencies about the change in project work over the past year, many agencies reported having 60% or less of their billed work being outside of the retained relationship. More revealing is the change in the amount of project work. Based on last year's experience, over 43% of agencies are expecting the amount of project work they do to grow. And what agencies report in increasing project work is not really a figment of their imagination. Marketers confirm they're increasingly assigning work outside of retainer relationships. In 2015, over 50% of marketers said up to 40% of their work was assigned as project work, with another 40% of marketers indicating even more assignments of project work. And looking into 2016, over 40% of marketers said they expect project work to grow. And project work, presents opportunities, obviously, as well as challenges. When we asked marketers about their agency rosters, the number of marketers using 2 or more agencies grew considerably over the past year. We believe the reason why more marketers are jumping on the 2 or more agency bandwagon is in part because they can. We hear from the marketing prospects we reach out to on behalf of our RSW US agency clients that marketers receive hundreds of calls and emails a week from agencies, really creating a bounty of potential firms to choose from that can bring them new ideas and new thinking and new skills. We believe the other reason more marketers are using multiple agencies is because they need to. With the speed of technology changes, the demands for proven ROI, and the thinning of marketing ranks, there's a need to tap into multiple agencies to find the right fit agency to meet their changing business and marketing needs. Yet another factor that is contributing to the rise in project work assignments is a resurgence of in-house agencies. When asked about their expectations, nearly a third of agencies indicated they thought they would see a moderate to large shift in work going in-house. From the marketer perspective, 46% foresee such a shift. While we don't view this as an imminent or catastrophic threat, it does require an agency to think and operate differently. For example, in a search we're currently managing for a sports nutrition client, they have all their creative needs covered with their in-house group, and they're in need of a smart thinking, strategic shop that can help them better plan, execute, analyze, and optimize all things non-traditional for them. Some agencies embraced the challenge. Others said they wanted all or nothing. And I'm really not sure that the latter is the best course of action long-term for marketing service firms. The rise of in-house agencies appears to be a trend that isn't going away. And in order to survive long-term, agencies will need to adapt and be willing to take a smaller bite in order to enjoy, the full meal deal. The Adweek article featuring our survey results included some thoughts around AOR service offered by Michael Houston, the CEO of Gray North America. Reflecting on the organization's recent wins for 2 Best Buy campaigns, Mr. Houston said it can become challenging when clients expect AOR service for a project fee, but if you're able to do it, it can pay off. Explained Mr. Houston. More and more clients are saying the pitch process doesn't always give them everything they need to assess a relationship. As long as there's a lot of candor and transparency, there's a good alignment between a client and an agency about where the service level is. Mad Men and the nostalgia it may conjure for the good old days of advertising may be wearing thin to some degree, but consider Mr. Houston's advice closely as project assignments develop. Project work can very well lead to more and larger assignments and opportunities. We see it, I don't want to say every day, but quite often here at RSW. Big project assignments helping validate the agency's performance that can then lead to larger responsibilities moving forward. And as you think about nurturing client relationships, whether AOR work or project work, suggest you keep the spirit of Leo Burnett in mind. His words on when to take his name off the door apply as much now in this rapid as they did in 1967. Filled with the ideals for serving clients successfully, Burnett's words cultivated value, focus, performance, expectations that endure. The link on, somebody said there seems to be a sound issue, but I'll just keep rolling along here. Folks want to let me know. The link on this slide brings up Burnett's retirement, and it will be included in the webinar file we upload to our website next week. So looking at the opportunities to make the most of the industry now and in the future, let's cover some of the more frequently offered verbatim comments first. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to touch on some of the most frequently mentioned concerns marketers shared. I can't say I can provide the answers to fix these concerns. Actually, I want to emphasize that you have the power as the agency. Strategic partners, agencies are in positions to solve these problems, to create the fix that meets each client's needs. A common theme on the marketer wish list is seamless integration across media. And this is not a new concern for marketers. It appeared in our 2015 New Year Outlook Survey report and in 2014 as well. With repeated appearance, marketers are indicating they haven't seen improvement with this problem. Nothing in their verbatim responses indicates that they're optimistic about a fix on the horizon. And to be fair, this is a concern agencies also express about marketers. The general theme of agency feedback is that marketers are too siloed and politicized to enable integration of messaging strategy across channels successfully. So we see integration of strategy across multiple channels is one concern, certainly an issue for marketers and also for agencies. Now moving on to the next most frequently cited concern, ROI. Obviously a big one. Certainly the data that can be drawn from digital media is a force that builds the demand for marketing ROI. But frankly, marketers have been seeking a way to measure it definitively for decades. ROI is a frustration for agencies too. Agencies' concerns run a legitimate range from how to quantify ROI on the qualitative nature of creative to the reported unwillingness of marketers to identify the metrics that matter most, which need to be measured. Again, silos and politics, as well as periodic leadership changes, can make it difficult to establish a consistent set of objectives and metrics to measure. Once again, looking at marketer frustrations are shared by their agency counterparts. Different perspectives on the same problem, certainly, but they are common. And the next marketer frustration and agency service, much more difficult to quantify and measure, which is creative, really their thirst for bolder creative. Marketers cite with notable frequency that they see emphasis and focus on creative subordinated underneath what they perceive to be a distraction by new, emerging, and unproven media. However, agencies counter that marketers are not courageous enough to embrace the bold, breakthrough creative they present and settle for safer approaches. Furthermore, they perceive marketers have fallen in love with technology to an extent that they've forgotten how important it is to tell a story. And this is a tough battle for the reasons already mentioned: silos, politics, leadership changes, and the challenges around applying quantitative values to different creative approaches. Nevertheless, marketers' emphasis on creative is something we'll come back to in just a minute. Yet again, looking at marketer frustrations, a theme is familiar. Marketers' concerns are also agencies' concerns. It's true for this next one as well, but in a slightly different regard. Concern over agency fees and costs have appeared reliably over past year's surveys. In 2016, in the New Year Outlook survey, this concern was cited frequently in marketer verbatims. This is obviously an uncomfortable place. Marketers express that agencies are too expensive, fees are too high, cost is a problem. Succinctly, they just don't seem to be seeing the value. And when marketers lament cost and expense, such statements boil down to value marketers are perceiving in what their agencies are delivering. So give yourself and your firm the benefit of candidate assessment. Maybe consider a 360 review process that involves employees, suppliers, clients, wherever you have working touch points. These reviews can reveal opportunities to strengthen your operation and ultimately your client relationships. Certainly insist on taking a leadership approach with your clients. I don't mean this in a power context of leadership, but as a smart, proactive, insightful partner who's willing to blaze a trail towards better transparency, communication, strategic collaboration, and more with your clients and other agencies who may have a role in your client's business. And very importantly, what is it your clients are expecting of you? You can't be everything to everyone successfully. And marketers know this, and they mention it as one of their concerns, that agencies that claim they're full service but really can't deliver at all. Certainly overpromising and under-delivering only serves to, fool the question around value. We coach our clients to define their position, their brand very tightly, and we aren't the only ones preaching this message. If you haven't seen our 2016 Thought Leader Report on our site, a common thread that weaves through the perspective of our thought leader panelists is the importance of a clear positioning. So be definitive about what you do and what you can deliver. Set and proactively manage your clients' expectations accordingly, and chances are the cost value concerns will begin to fade. So in describing these troubling trends, integration across media, marketing ROI, creative, cost value, we're only scratching the surface of marketers' frustrations and needs. Do be sure to download the report if you haven't already and see marketers and agencies' concerns through the verbatims. So wrapping up this section on what marketers want most, I'll highlight these the top 3 services agencies can offer, both as expressed by marketers and as perceived by agencies. Marketers say the top services they need from their agencies are, in order: first, creative; second, digital marketing development and management of digital; and brand strategy, followed closely by digital media buying and traditional media buying. It is both interesting and encouraging to see that agencies identified the same services in their top 3, only the order was slightly different. Of note, digital marketing development management is both a clear expressed need of the marketer and perceived agency service. I call the service out because when marketers tell us they need partners who are stronger with data, analytics, and insights, the digital space is an obvious one to build a deliverable in this area. And just how important are analytics becoming? When we ask marketers about the importance of capabilities and data analytics and insights, almost 75% said it was either important or very important, with 43% saying it was one of several key factors in agency selection and retention. Another 30% saying this expertise will be a leading determinant of agency selection and retention. And we're seeing this more and more with marketers demanding higher levels of sophistication in this area. So wrapping up today's discussion is actually a starting point. You know, as you proceed with your 2016 new business, give your firm the benefit of not only looking at this year, but 3 to 5 years out. Give serious consideration to marketers' concerns and the needs they articulate, certainly in creative and in data analytics and insights. You know, creative, data analytics, and insights are, you know, truly the yin and the yang of marketing. And marketers are stating definitively that they're looking for strong complementary capabilities in these areas. But I do caution, don't overpromise these capabilities. You know, marketers are impatient with agencies that aren't delivering what they claim they are capable of. So if your firm can offer true expertise on both sides, by all means promote this. However, don't be afraid of true talent. Then plan to collaborate with other resources, other agencies, internal resources that can provide the supplemental expertise. Remember, even a collaborative situation, in one you can stake out a visionary leadership position. You know, be an active partner regardless of the scope of your assignment. Your business will grow when you operate from a perspective of a strategic partnership rather than an assignment order taker. You know, definitely need to be a leader. So the surest path to success in being definitive is being definitive about your positioning, your brand, your capabilities, and the services you offer. You know, show clients existing and prospective definitively how and why your firm is different and why you deserve to be on their roster. So regardless of whether it's an AOR full service relationship, an AOR relationship owning only part of their business, or even, you know, starting a relationship on a project basis. You know, we're seeing the number of full service AOR opportunities decreasing, and just because that's happening doesn't mean you can't build and own and bring value to a client relationship. You know, it's a changing mindset that agencies adopt and build through their organization. Things are not necessarily going to switch back overnight, and be more of the project work and parts of the client's business being assigned to different agencies. You need to be thinking about ways in which you can grab those pieces of business, build the trust of your client, and take advantage of that trust and build more business within that client's organization. So, finally, take advantage of the resources we can share. Certainly I'd be happy to talk further offline about insights from our 2016 New Year Outlook survey or anything, it relates to your business for that matter. In addition to our recent Agency of the Future infographic, along with accompanying videos and blog posts, describes traits that are most important in building future success for agencies. And as I mentioned before, the recent Thought Leader Survey report is also rich in insights and advice from industry thought leaders like Jay Baer, Tim Williams, about agency new business strategy. Some great thinking and great perspective that all those guys bring to the table. So it's all on our website, rswus.com. Hope you take advantage of these resources, and certainly appreciate the time today. I apologize if there were some issues with some of the sound. Hopefully we got that corrected. Certainly wish you the best as you roll through 2016. And again, happy to have a conversation if there's any interest in the situation. Happy to provide some perspective if interested, and you can reach me either via my email address, mark@rswus.com, or via my direct line here in the office, 513-559-3101. So thanks so much, and hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye now.